time, just doing an audio check in preparation for the net at 7 p.m.
7CS, yes, did receive you on the 08 receiver. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that get together for a net held on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Western Washington Amateur Television Society has a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater and spits out images of 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our club's homepage. There you'll find information about our organization, frequencies we transmit on, and a link to YouTube where we stream our nets on YouTube. And we'd also like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association. WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a tone of 103.5 for Cougar Mountain for our voice transmissions. So with that information out, this is Dave, KD7CYM. I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact before the net gets fully underway. Again, this is Dave, KD7CYM. Not hearing any at this point. This is Dave, KD7CYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. Well, let's see, checked in by video link already is Bert N7CS, Richard K7ITX, Wade W7ITL, Jim N7QO, James WU7N, myself, Dave, KD7CYM. Is there anybody else that would like to check into the net?
KD7QKU.
Acknowledges KD7QKU, Ron. Thanks for joining the net. Any others wish to check in? Hearing none. Well, let's start off with Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Okay, well, that repeater seems to be hanging up or something. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but anyway, this is KD7QKU. If someone could switch me in, I'm transmitting ATV, so that would be nice. I might see myself coming back a little bit. So anyway, let's see. Well, it turned out to be a beautiful day. We had company today, some people that went to our old church in Bellevue. They were up here visiting their families. Their daughter, I think, is in Bellingham. And then they stayed last night in La Conner. And then they came down this morning and had breakfast with some friends. And then they stopped here on their way home. We had coffee and goodie, and then they went on their way. Nice couple. They live in Vancouver, Washington. They moved about the same time we did over here. When we moved to Tacoma, they had just moved shortly before that to Vancouver. They have a son that lives in Vancouver. And then after that, we jumped in the car, and we went, where did we go? Let's say Midway or something. Go down Pacific Avenue till about 100th, and then we went east a little ways, and there was a baseball field over there. And Jenny, Joanne's niece's youngest son, was playing baseball there. And it turned out to be a really nice day. We'd taken our lawn chair. There was a lot of people that came. I was surprised. And it was warm. It was pretty darn warm. Everybody was remarking how nice it was. So after that, we went to our favorite store, Dave. There was a favorite store of ours over there. So we stopped by there, but I didn't find anything interesting. So back to net, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU. For some reason, your picture didn't lock on. It's a little bit of hit and miss with streaks running through, but no great picture coming from you. Let's go on to Bert, N7CS.
Okay, let's see if people can't hear me okay over Echolink, if you can give me a thumbs up. Okay, I see one from Jim and James here. Okay. Yeah, so just a location report. I am in at the island of Moreno in French Polynesia. The ship is getting ready to leave at 5 p.m. local time. And so we should be able to see a nice sail out as we leave this port during the net. I talked to the captain and arranged everything just for the net, so we're all good there. But yeah, so I think this is like the third net in a row that I said is for time zones. It's like the first one just in New Caledonia, it was 2 p.m. local time, then the one we did on the way to Fiji was 4 p.m. local time, and now it's 5 p.m. So I'm getting closer and closer to Seattle time. But the next port we have is Honolulu. It's going to take us 5 full days to sail there. So I don't know how good the internet is going to be during that because there's probably not a lot of satellite coverage between these two areas, but we'll find out. Anyway, this is Bert in French Polynesia using Echolink instead of PM back to net.
K7CS, thanks for that. Let's see if Richard's with us. K7ITX. K7ITX, are you available?
After all that, well, I heard Dave. I saw Dave key up. I'm video, audio only for right now. But anyway, I saw Bert in Polynesia. That's pretty cool. So anyway, I've got kind of a hoarse voice to say the least. So I'll pass it on. K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, thanks for that, Richard. Let's go on to Wade, W7ITL. W7ITL. Response on Wade. Let's try Jim in 7QO. I see his smiling face.
And 7QO. Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, let's see, Ron. Yeah, I didn't see much of your picture. But then I don't receive it as well as some of the others do either. Jim made a comment that he saw a little bit of your picture right after you stopped talking. I unfortunately wasn't looking at my monitor at that time. Favorite shopping? I wonder what that could be. My guess is some sort of thrift store. Just curious which one. And Bert, Polynesia, yeah, looks pretty out there. Looks like we're looking through somewhat like sunglasses. We can actually see your reflection in the sunscreen there. Not real well, but we see it anyway. And you have a beverage for your enjoyment. That's great. Oh, now that looks pretty without the sunshade, but that's okay. Let's see, Dick. Yeah, you definitely sound hoarse. You need one of these. It says Halls on it. Oh well. I could, if we could transport it, I'd beam it over to you, but we don't have that technology yet. Someone out there probably does, but we don't have it here, at least not that anyone will admit. Well, most of the day here was fairly nice, like in the low 50s. Seemed a little bit cooler than I was actually expecting for 50-some degrees. Went out there, definitely needed a jacket on. but it was dry up until about an hour ago. It began raining here. It's sort of a steady rain, not raining furiously. There are smallish drops, but it's definitely raining on us. I'm showing 58 degrees here at the house. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
7QO, and time for a little IG again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Let's move on down the line. Go to James in Bellevue, WU7N.
Oh, good evening, Dave. This is James, WU7N, Northeast Bellevue. Over the top of the titter tats. Okay. Okay, that's good. Well, anyway, Ron, sounds like you had a good family visit there. And we can see you now. This is the famous desk shot. I call this the COVID desk shot. That's where someone lays the camera flat on the desk and it looks up. And, well, good coffee, good friends. Can't beat that. Just a signal report to amplify what Jim said. Yes, I saw the same thing. I didn't see you throughout your transmission. Then after you'd stopped talking, then I saw about a 3 picture come through on 1.2 gigahertz. I now have it set to the shack, and it's really coming and going. There must be a lot of wind blowing around up there. Not really a great picture because there's nothing but white screen on the digital side. Thank you very much for joining us and showing us a picture out your window as you depart. That's kind of exciting. And I think you'll have good satellite coverage going from where you're at to Hawaii because you're crossing the equator, I believe, aren't you? And if you are, then that should be where all the satellites are parked. So I'll bet you have great satellite coverage there. Whereas if you were in, like Alaska going to Siberia, that would be much harder. But anyway, I think we'll have to get the report from you there on that. I do this today? Well, I enjoyed the weather. It warmed up here in Northeast Bellevue. Went out for a walk. We did an errand, and I'm ready for a little warmer weather. The weather forecast is calling for all kinds of rain and cold still coming up, but supposedly by middle of next week it's supposed to be warming up, and then I'm going to start on a lot of house projects that require at least a lot nicer to have a little warmer weather. So hope that happens. I don't mind a late spring though. Maybe it'll delay the wildfires. So anyway, that's it for me. Whiskey Uniform 7 November, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. Let's turn it back to our net control. Take it away, Dave.
WU7N, thanks with that. And let's see, here in Lake City, I've got 56 degrees and overcast. And let's see, I think the news was supposed to be meteor showers tonight, but I don't think we're going to be able to see them here in the Seattle area. It's quite overcast at this point, so if they happen, there might be a chance that Bert may be able to see him where he's at his location. Who knows? Well, for me, let's see. Yard work today. Got out, raked more leaves up. I'm just about caught up with the leaves, but I think I still need about another 90 gallons of leaves to check out. So that's about it. And this is Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City. So let's go up to Ron, KD7QKU.
QKU here. So, James, if you'll switch me in, I'll turn my transmitter on this time. AC5WFH disconnected on the screen now. And I turned my phone on Zoom so I could see you guys, and I can see Bert's picture. That was really neat. Yeah, what a wonderful trip. I'd like to, I think he said Bali, something like that. I forgot now already. Short memory here. So, yeah, I would like to go over there. That would be really pretty. The other day I was on the radio and there was a guy from Belize talking, and I talked to him for a second. Tonight when I got home, Wade had sent me a text that Wade had wanted an RCA to TV coax connector, and I had one. And so I texted him, said I was home, he could come and get it. And he came over, and in the meantime I turned on the radio, and Australia and New Zealand was coming in really quite well. The guy talked to the guy in New Zealand for a long time, and the band was deteriorating quick. So finally he quit, and I tried to call the guy in New Zealand, but just as the guy's ready to quit and I'm ready to call, somebody started tuning up on the frequency, which is, in my opinion, really rude. And so I think the guy actually heard me, but he also heard the noise. He said, I can't hear for the noise. And I think he was hearing this guy tune up, same as I was. And so, of course, there was a pileup, and a whole bunch of other people were trying to call him too. So anyway, I don't know if he actually heard me or not, but you know, I can think he did. So let's see. Wade came over for a minute, and he talked about my phone. He's going to come back tomorrow. Our phone and internet just quit, and I don't know. It's like somebody cut the wire. I think Wade wondered if we paid the bill, but it's automatic pay on a credit card, so it should be paid. So anyway, so what else is exciting? Yeah, Jim, it was a thrift store, and it was a no-name thrift store. It wasn't like Goodwill or Value Village, but it was a big store, and it was on 72nd Avenue, near Portland Street over here, if you know where that's at. I don't know the name of the store. I'm sure it had a name, but I don't know. It was a big building. Lots of stuff, reasonable prices, but unfortunately there was nothing in there that I found a need for. So I guess that's about it. We had stopped at Wendy's, and we all had a Frosty after the game, and that was good. After we left, and I remembered, I heard that Wendy's was having some kind of anniversary, and they were giving away some free food. And so here we were all there. We probably could have had a free hamburger or something. I hadn't had dinner, and on the way home, my mouth was drooling. One of their big bacon cheeseburgers or something would have really tasted good. A heart attack burger, as my wife would have called it. All right, back to net, KD7QKU.
87QKU, thanks for that. Well, let's go to Bert again. N7CS in Polynesia.
Connected KC5WFH.
On the boat, on the ship, doing their thing, but we haven't really seen to move too much yet, so obviously they're just doing whatever last minute checks they need to do before they kick it in to drive and start heading out. But I've tried to MacGyver something to try to get my laptop a little higher so that you can see above that sunshade that Jim was talking about, but this is about the best I can do. I think they generally don't want you to get too high above that because, you know, they don't want people falling overboard and all that stuff. So I want to try to, like, make sure my laptop and me stay on the ship. So let's see. Oh, yeah, this morning, the Snohomish County Hams Club had their monthly meeting, and they invited Jim Andrews, the ATV guy from Denver, Colorado, to give a presentation there. I was only able to sit on the first few minutes of the presentation because I had to go to do my short excursion, but I saw that Wade was able to log into the meeting, so I think he listened to the whole thing, and there's Wade. Hey, Wade. It sounds like there weren't any questions that came up from it, but it's just interesting. It's like all over the Pacific Northwest, people are getting very interested in ATV and want to hear more about it. So anyway, this is Bert in French Polynesia getting ready to depart. I'm on Echo Link over satellite in 7CS. Back to that.
N7CS, thanks for that, Bert. Well, let's see. We got Kingston Bill on the line, KC5WFH. WFH. right, let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
Yeah, I heard his call sign too, Dave. Yeah, I've known Kingston Bill now since when I first got my ticket about 8 years ago, and he's always fun to have around for sure. So if you're still listening, Bill, pop back in. Love to hear from you, that's for sure. Let's see. Yeah, I'm kind of slightly under the weather. Maybe I went out to Pacific Raceway today, and our car wasn't out there, but it was the first time out for a lot of the vintage racers at Pacific Raceway, so it was fun to see that. But pleased when I got home to have the YL show me our slowly leaky hot water tank. So yeah, I know. Now as long as it's slow and I can limp my way into Monday and Tuesday, but I don't know. Something tells me that would be really lucky. That, yeah. So, anyway, Debbie's gonna check it out before she goes to bed, and then I go to bed after she does, and I'll check it out. I guess if it really starts leaking really bad, at that point, that's when you just turn the water off and turn the power off to the tank, and I don't know, what a bummer. I know. It's not so bad. I mean, at least you still have water, but I don't know what to tell you. So that's about all I have going on. I'm sure I'll think of something else. K7ITS, back to net control.
K7ITX, thanks for that. Let's go on down to Wade, W7ITL.
This is W7ITL. Maybe somebody can pipe me in over RF. See if my RF is going to work. Oh, I'm coming in really bad, but let's see if I can clean it up a little bit. Yeah, it's bad. I need to get on the roof. I know I said last time I would get up there, but it is bad. The wind must have blown it off. So let's see. Let's just talk about a few things. So yeah, I got to check into the nets at the Everett Hand Club, or I forget what they call themselves, but something about law. I forget the name of their call sign. But yeah, I checked in on Zoom, and I got to listen to Jim Andrews, the KH6HTV guy. He is a cool dude. He really gave it a full and deep explanation about amateur TV all the way down to the 30s and 40s, talking about vesicle sideband and FM TV, and then he finished off talking about DVT. I think that's the standard that we're looking at going to, DVB-T, and talked about why it's such a good standard, and why even I guess the NTSC people, when they do ATSC 1.0, were kind of saying, well, yeah, we should have standardized something like this. It was a lot better. And talked even a little bit about Mario's club up down in San Diego, talking about how they were doing ATSC 3.0, and he did ask the crowd if they had any questions, and nobody piped up. I was working, so I couldn't ask him any questions. So I was just kind of in the background listening to him. It was a good lecture. Well, not lecture, but a good presentation, and yeah, it makes me excited about getting into digital TV. So hopefully, as a group here, we can get that forward soon. So I will. Oh, let me break for just a second. So yeah, I've been tinkering with some retro electronics. I got my Atari 2600 in the mail I got from online, and got it all hooked up, and that's what I used, that coax RCA adapter I got from Ron to hook it up to my TV. So I got it all plugged in. It does turn on. One of my TVs won't detect it at all, but my other TV saw it just fine. But it looks like I'm going to have to reflow or replace some of the ports on the board because it doesn't. I can't joystick up and down very well. I have to hold the joystick up, like press down on or press up on the port to get it to for the joystick controls to work. And so yeah, that'll be fun. I might be doing that after that or tomorrow morning and see if I can reflow those solder joints and see if I can get it to work. So yeah, and then I had dinner with my daughter just right before the net, and we had Italian at the Giuseppe's here on Pearl Street in Tacoma. So I think that's it for this round. I may not be able to make it into the next round. I'm going to try to check into my other net that I check into at the same time on Saturdays. So if not, I'll see you guys maybe 2 rounds. W7ITL back to net.
W7ITL, thanks for that. And we'll get another ID in again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Let's move on to Covington, to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, let's see. Ron, bacon cheeseburger. My goodness, do you know that I have not had a burger since before the pandemic? We have really, yeah, one would think that I would surely have a burger, but I didn't. I know it's un-American. Well, what can I say? At least I haven't been eating snails. What can I say about that? Man, I gotta. We've been taking it very careful, trying hard to avoid getting COVID, and it was just like earlier this month that we thought, well, it's all over. Wrong. So I don't know. I gotta at least go through a drive-thru and get a burger sometime. That made me salivate a little there, Ron, and I can tell I'm not the only one salivating too. Dick, water leak. My goodness. Yeah, good luck with that. Some of these things are a real pain in the butt. You know, you buy the best quality stuff you can get, and then 30-some years later, magically, everything's breaking. That's kind of just the way it is. Wade, thanks for the information about the meeting. Giuseppe's, oh my goodness. That's another thing. Oh well. We frequently talk about food on this net. I don't know if anyone has noticed that, but that's okay. We need to eat. Looks like someone's chasing after Bert with a boat there. Maybe it's someone that got left behind inadvertently. Perhaps they should take an accounting of people who might be absent before they shove off. I don't know. If I were in a little boat like that, I wouldn't be chasing ocean liners. At least that's my thought. Anyway, back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
7QO, and I'm get an ID, and again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. Let's go to Bellevue, to James, WU7N.
Let's see, I'm going to try and share something here, but I don't think it's coming through on the digital channel, but maybe you can see Wendy's has free food every day for 3 weeks, while Mercury is in retrograde. I had to look this up because I'm not an astrologer. Apparently, when Mercury is in retrograde, you look up at the sky, and it seems like it does a reverse up in the sky relative to the way we see it in the heavens. And supposedly, astrologers say that causes problems with astrology, like negative things. So Wendy's response is for the 3 weeks they have different free food deals. Buy one thing and get something else free. So that's the only news I can offer the net as far as getting stuff like going. I haven't tried Wendy's yet. My other 2 burger experiences really haven't been that great. Dairy Queen kind of first let me down, and then they tried to get back on track a little bit, but their meat is different. It's just not the same thing as their old flame broiled burgers. I don't know if those are ever going to come back or not. Is trying to get back on track, but I noticed that their coupons, which used to be a little under $3, are now $6 plus taxes, $6.30. And it was okay food. The fries were hot, the burgers were not inedible, but nothing to, get excited about or go back again for. So I'm hoping America's fast food industry gets back on its feet. And I would say that boat that Bert is showing us there, that looks to me like a pilot boat. And it was chasing after the big boat, and they've thrown the pilot over the side, and now it's leaving. Bert, great pictures, great video. Thank you very much for showing us all that. I don't know if Wade can still hear, but thank you very much for joining our nets in the evening. I know you've got some competing nets, and so I appreciate you coming in, participating as much as you can. So anyway, that's my 2 bits for, actually it's now a lot more than 2 bits, I'm sure, but that's my offering for fast food there. If you've got a Wendy's near you, maybe you should poke your head into Wendy's over the next 3 weeks and see what they have to offer. This is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue, so let's turn it back to our net control, Dave.
7N, James, thanks with that. And this is Dave, KD7CYM. Well, it's kind of an interesting net. It was really nice to see the boat, or the pilot exchange that happened on Bert's video that was coming out of Polynesia. So it's amazing that we can see history that far in the making. And let's see, I'll try again for KC5 WFH, Kingston Bill, see if you're with us.
C5WFH disconnected.
The answer on KC5WFH is signed off. So this is Dave, KD7CYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. So let's go back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, thank you very much, Dave. KD7QKU here. Well, Kingston Bill, he's a really nice guy. I used to participate with him in the mornings on a net for a long time, he and some other guys over there. And it wasn't a large group, but it was a good group. And then I guess I finally, I don't know what happened, I kind of dropped out. So anyway, well, Richard, I'm really sorry to hear that you're kind of hoarse. I hope that doesn't turn into anything bad. And then your water tank, oh my golly, that's kind of dangerous. The pressure builds up in them a little bit. If it's leaking like in the bottom, which it very well may have rusted through or something, then, I hope it has a pan around it, but that won't contain much water. If there's any way you can shut it off tonight when you go to bed, I certainly would shut it off, that's for sure. And Bert, those pictures are just as exquisite that you're sending. It's just beautiful. I'm envious. I'd want to sit there and drink a cocktail and look out the window. That's a beautiful view. Beautiful. So let's see what else. Evening Christmas. No, I drew a blank. I had a few things on mine. but I started looking at that picture again of Bert's, and I'm just blown away. And I really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Bert. Yeah, I would hope that maybe the guys can get together and we can do a little bit towards digital TV. Maybe if Wade and Bert would get together and then get Rob involved, maybe something could happen. That would be great. I'd like to see that happen in my lifetime anyway. I might not have too many more years, you guys. Who knows? Kind of, you know, when you get to be, I'll be 83. Yeah, I guess I'll be 83, my next birthday in September. So you're sort of on borrowed time. So what else? Darn, I don't know. It was fun watching the kids play baseball this afternoon. They actually played pretty good. These teams are just a little bit better than some of the other games we saw. The pitcher on the opposing team was a pretty good pitcher. He could actually get it across the mound for some strikes. All right, enough of that. I guess fun listening to you guys. So back to net. KD7QKU.
KD7QKU. Well, from our senior member to our junior member, Bert, M7CS.
Okay, yeah, so that what James described was exactly what was happening. That was the pilot boat approaching to let the pilot hop overboard onto the boat there. He was on the ship helping us get steer out of that harbor there. I had hoped to actually catch him like jumping off or going down the ladder, but it looks like the lifeboats were above, were kind of blocking my point of view there, so I couldn't do anything on that. So sorry about that. I was hoping to get some people hanging on the boat, hanging on the edge of the boat. But let's see, what else? Hamburgers and fast food. Yeah, I had not heard of that particular Wendy's promotion. I'll have to look into that. Sounds like maybe it'll still be, well, I don't know, maybe nearly over by the time I get home. But I did hear something in the news that said McDonald's was changing the recipe on some of their burgers. I don't know, I didn't read the article on exactly what the recipe changes are, but they said that will be like coming soon. Hopefully for the better. I don't know, we'll have to see. I don't know that I have anything else to report just at the moment, so this is Bert from French Polynesia over satellite on Echolink M7ATS, back to net.
7CS, thanks for that. Let's go to Kent. Richard, K7ITX.
Well, thanks a lot, you guys, for the advice regarding the hot water tank. Now, I will say this: it is on the lower level on a cement slab. I mean, it's got a pan and it's up off the slab. 18 inches, whatever the code requires for a gas-fired hot water tank. And so, really, it looks like if it really were to just cut loose, downstream, so to speak, it would just eventually kind of go out the garage door and out onto the driveway. So there really is, I'll get things wet that are sitting on the floor right there, but it's just, junky junk stuff that is not going to get damaged. But still, the idea of having a big wet mess doesn't appeal to me. If it's, really coming out like I'm afraid it could, especially when the tank is under pressure. I've had a couple of leaks like that before, and it's usually you discover them, and then when you discover it, you go, oh my God, you're just kind of freaked out, everything's all flooded out. That isn't the case right at the moment, maybe because we're just lucky to see it before it turns into a big flood. So if I took your advice, and I throttled the temperature down to just about nothing, and then I would turn the input, or the intake valve to the tank off, and then in the morning, or whenever we really, want to use it, then I turn it back on, everything back on. But the only thing about that is, I just worry, will the change in pressure, depressurization and then repressurization, will that cause it to burst? Maybe not, I don't know. It's anyone's guess. I'll be curious about your comments on how I should handle that, or just let it go and see what happens until Monday or Tuesday. No, I see someone going, no, don't do that. All right. K7ATS back to net control.
ITX. Let's go on to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, I'm not sure exactly what's the right thing to do with the water heater there, Dick, but there's definitely danger that the leak will get worse. On the other hand, if you just turn off the cold water supply to the heater, if it's leaking somewhere down lower, it might leak out a little bit more water than you want to anyway. There shouldn't be any air going into it, so it should not eliminate the leak, but it may slow it down some. I think the thing to do is probably get a plumber there tomorrow if you really need hot water desperately. Yeah, can't let it go too long. I guess when they go, they go. Don't know how old yours is. A lot of them seem to last, in my youth anyway. I noticed they last about a week longer than the warranty. Funny how that works. But I'd say this, during the night, if it sounds like someone is tinkling and you're in bed and your wife is also in bed, I think it's time to go take a closer look at the water heater. I don't know. Good luck, guy. Jim, Wendy's, free food. Yeah. Thanks for mentioning that. I will certainly investigate that. Bert, McDonald's, thank you for mentioning that. I saw something on television as well. They announced that they are replacing their standard burger with what they are calling a, quote, more juicy burger. I'm skeptical of that. One of the things which I appreciated about the McDonald's is that their patties were almost a little on the dry side. To me, if it's more juicy, that means more greasy and more likely to cause me gastrointestinal problems. So I appreciated the McDonald's burgers because if they were a little too dry, it just means I slather a little more ketchup or something on there. Ketchup, sriracha sauce, mayo, whatever. The jury's still out with me regarding the future burgers at McDonald's. Let's see. Talking about baseball, yeah. I noticed just before coming onto the net, unfortunately the Mariners were losing, and the Kraken was playing, and they're also losing. Not by much, a point, but that's all that you need to lose. So I'm recording both of those games. I'll have to go check them out after the net here. KD7ZYM and 7QO.
WW7N.
I think McDonald's has been in the news a lot. I think they had some pretty major layoffs at their corporate headquarters, but I also did see the article that they were redesigning food, making the cheese gooier and the burgers juicier and stuff like that. So they're working hard. I find all the fast food franchises, though, I'm getting bombarded with advertisements, for example, on YouTube. But if you actually go there and try to ask about, with this promotion, they just kind of, give you the deer in the headlights look. So I think there's a lot of promotion going on at a national level for franchises that the individual franchisors are not supporting. And that even happened at Krispy Kreme Donuts with me on St. Patrick's Day. I got in there, 15 minutes before they were closing. I didn't realize they were closing at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And I said, and the advertisement was if you go in there with anything green on, you get a free donut. And he didn't, I could just tell by his facial reaction he didn't like that at all. And I said, I thought it was with a purchase. He goes, oh, okay. And then so I ordered a cup of coffee. So at least he got some, coffee money out of me for the donut that was probably going to get thrown out of the trash anyway. So that's one thing I've noticed about some of the promotions right now. So if anybody goes to Wendy's before the next net, tell me if they're really honoring their Mercury and retrograde advertising. Well, I'm conservative on hot water heaters because I recall, it was about 10 years after I moved into this place, there was just a whole bunch of hot water heaters all blowing out at the same time. They were all installed at the same time, and I'm sure they were the cheapest, crappiest hot water heaters they could find to put into this development. And you'd drive by and you'd see the disaster cleanup dude hauling the pipes into the garage, all the water vac and everything, and then you would see anywhere from 1 to 4 owners with their arms tightly folded across their chest, and one guy waving a clipboard in the air, and you can just imagine what the conversation was like, because these are duplexes. Like, whose insurance is going to pay for what, and where did the water go, and wait a minute, is that really going to dry out? So my humble, unsolicited free advice here, if you don't have a water alarm that you can stick underneath the hot water heater to wake you up at 1 a.m. when it finally really breaks loose, although if it's dripping already, it's probably going to set that off. I would turn the input off, I would turn the gas off, and then I'd attach a big giant hose and drain it for the night, and then you can take your chances in the morning. But a couple of quotes come to mind. Hemingway, and he was asked, well, how did a successful writer like you, making so much money, how did you go bankrupt? And he said, slowly at first, and then really quickly. That's how he went bankrupt. So I think hot water heaters may do the same thing. How do they bust loose? Well, slowly at first and then really quickly. The only difference is whether you notice the slowly part or not. And then, of course, Clint Eastwood, in regards to your pressure, you could almost paraphrase him by saying, well, I don't remember if the pressure was turned on or if the pressure was turned off. And in all this excitement, I've kind of lost count myself. So I guess it just depends on how lucky you think you feel, punk. So anyway, that's my 2 celebrity quotes regarding hot water heaters. They're probably applicable here. This is James, WW7N in Northeast Bellevue. Looks like we got about 9 minutes to go. So let's turn it back to our net control, Dave.
WW7N, thanks for that. Water heaters. I managed to get by about 22 years on my last water heater, and had that replaced several years back. But during that 22 years, I did have some leakage that happened, and it turned out it was the fitting going into the water tank. Both the hot water side and the cold water side, the fitting that goes into the tank somehow got a little bit on the loose side, so they just put a wrench on it, tightened it up, and that took care of the leak. And that lasted for another 6 years or so. But the lifespan, they say, on hot water tanks is 7 to 8 years. So anyway, got to look at that for appliance replacement. And this is Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City. So let's go back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU. Well, James, if you'll switch me in again, that would be nice. And yeah, my experience has been water tanks only last about 10 or 12 years. I had the experience of coming home from vacation one time, long time ago when I was first married. We were renting a house, and there was condensation on the windows as I walked up to the house. And when I opened the door, the water ran out. The hot water tank broke over, we're gone. And that was a, nasty mess all over the whole house. It was terrible. So I think, Richard, if you turn the valve off, and then in the morning, if you turned the water back on, you turned it on slowly, and there wasn't a big surge of pressure, I think you'd be perfectly fine. That's my opinion. But I don't know. Good luck. That's all I can say. What else? Not much else, I guess. Okay. I'm still enjoying Bert's picture. So anyway, all right, you guys. I probably won't be on Zoom later. I'll probably, and when the net's over, I'll probably sign off. I actually had just a glimpse of color on my picture coming back a second ago. It's amazing. I don't know if it's not now, but anyway. All right, thanks for flicking me in, James. KD7QKU, back to that.
QKU, thanks for that. Let's go on to Bert, N7CS, Polynesia.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, I moved my laptop a little lower because now we're out to open sea. The wind's picking up, and I don't want to kind of slide off into the sea. But plus, we're kind of far away from. We're getting far away from the island now. It's like just a kind of few pixels large there as it was. But let's see. And now I forgot what I was going to mention. Let me take a second. Was it about fast food? Oh, I did see almost every port I stopped at from New Caledonia, Fiji, to Houston, McDonald's, which I was kind of surprised that like the Keys Islands only have maybe like the one. So it seems like it's going to be a logistics nightmare to be shipping all that stuff just for like one McDonald's on an island that's 3 months from there. But yeah, it's. Yeah, I was surprised to see McDonald's. Like, I didn't see one today on Moreno, but it's a much smaller island in French Polynesia. Water heaters, that's right, yeah. I think the water heater we had at our house, we had to replace it maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I think our subdivision was built around 2005, and when I was telling some of the other people in the HOA that, yeah, ours was birth, everyone said, oh yeah, within about a 1 year period, everybody was in there just sort of popping one after the other. So, yeah, it's like right when, I think the warranty had long since expired, but they seem to have like a pretty set timeline that they just all started to bust. But anyway, this is Bert in departing French Polynesia on the way to Honolulu over satellite on Echolink in N7CS Continent.
N7CS. Well, let's go on to Richard, K7ITX.
Well, thanks a lot, you guys, for all your advice. And here's one last weird question. The last weird question is, okay, so what happens if I turn the pressure off to the water tank, and then the wife turns accidentally, or I accidentally turn on the hot water faucet upstairs in the kitchen or the bathroom? What happens? Nothing? Just, okay, good. Well, that's all right. Thank you for that. And, by the way, Cummington Jim, your information on those 2 sports events is outdated to our advantage. So maybe that'll cheer you up a little bit. So, but I won't tell you what's going on because I know you're recording it. Okay, but it is pretty exciting, especially with the Kraken. Stanley Cup and all that business. So, and even beating the St. Louis Cardinals, for crying out loud. We beat them yesterday, so nothing wrong with. I'd like to see 2 wins tonight. Let me put it that way. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to say goodbye. My voice isn't holding up much better, so and I suspect the more I don't talk, the quicker I will heal. K7ITX 73, back to net control.
K7ITX, we got your 7-3. Thanks for joining the net tonight. Let's go on down to Jim in 7QO.
And 7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Dick, thanks for the update on that. I appreciate that. Let's see. Okay, I have one water heater over here that was installed in 1989. It still is not leaking. It just quit working about 2 or 3 months ago, and it's just the thermocouple that it's all crudded up with soot. I feel 90% certain if I remove the thing and clean up the thermocouple and put it back in there, it'll start working just fine. But it ought to be replaced before too much more time goes by. It's past its expected lifespan. And Ron, you were talking about your picture there. Yeah, I saw a glimpse of color on your picture as well. Not all the time, but I did see a glimpse of it anyway. So that's something. Let's see. I guess that's about it. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, let's go to James in Bellevue, WU7N.
Just a couple of minutes here, and Wade is back. So let's give the mic to him for the last 2 minutes. You want to take it, Wade?
Yeah, let's just say it's been a good day, and I'm glad that I got to check in, and I'm trying to think anything else I can really contribute to the conversation other than looking forward for the summer months. Maybe we can get up on Tiger and do some experimenting with some digital stuff, so I'm looking forward to that in the coming months. So it's coming around the corner. All right, well, I'll turn it back to you guys, and we'll maybe talk on the Afternet.
W7ITL, thanks for coming back. Let's go back to James, WU7N.
Hey, this is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue with the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Hope we hear from Kilo Charlie 5, Whiskey Foxtrot Hotel out in Kingston. Bill, I heard him come and go off Echo Link a couple times, but didn't hear him, so I hope he'll rejoin us. Anybody else that wants to just check in or check out, we meet 8 p.m. on Wednesdays, 8 p.m. on Saturdays. You want to find out if that new antenna is working, we always gladly help anybody who wants to check in and check out, or join our conversation if you'd like. Other than that, thanks tonight for everyone's participation, especially the excellent videos from Bert. It's been fun talking about hot water heaters and past hot water heater disasters, as well as, maybe it's because Mercury is in retrograde. Maybe there is something to misfortune in astrology. No, not really. Anyway, this is James, WU7N. It's 9 o'clock. Let's turn it back to Dave for a closeout.
7NS, and get back to Bert. Look at that video. He has got quite a water leak coming in the bottom of his video. So anyway, I hope everything's well with him. And it's time to sign off. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. We'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 for our voice transmissions for our nets. So with that, on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7CYM, signing off at 9 o'clock. Good evening, all.
Can you still hear me, Bert? Joanne wanted to know what day it was where you're at. What day is it?